Hi, I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to talk about where to source as a clothing reseller. Now, this is not an all-inclusive guide. I am sure there are so many other places you can source that I don't even know about, but these are just my tips that have really helped me, especially as a beginner, because it kind of feels like if you want to source in bulk, you either have to do it in huge quantities or not at all, and it can be super intimidating as a beginner reseller, and it can feel impossible to find somewhere to source things. So these are the tips that I wish somebody would have told me when I first started. Let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about local places first, and then I'm going to talk about online. So the most popular, I would say, place to buy clothes in bulk to resell is the Goodwill bins, because they're just about everywhere in the US. Like, you can search through the clothes so you know what you're buying, but you get it by the pound and it's super cheap. That is like a great idea. I recommend trying going to the bins to every single beginner reseller, but I know that it's not for everyone. It's not for me. I don't really love going to the bins. I'll do it on occasion, but I could not entirely source everything that I resell from the bin. Okay, the next local place is garage sales. So get on Facebook Marketplace and just regular Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and Craigslist too, and look up your location and look up garage sales. If you live somewhere like Southern California, there's garage sales year round, but if you live in a place that has seasons, you're gonna see a lot of garage sales in the summer, the spring, the fall. More so the spring and the summer, but some in the fall. And I just recommend going to garage sales, just driving around, and you have to have cash. Like, almost all garage sales, at least where I live, are cash only. Some people would take Venmo, but you can't bank on that. Like, bring cash. That's applicable in a minute. The other thing I'm gonna say is go to estate sales. There is a website/app called estatesales.net. I can link it in the description. It's very popular and it's like nationwide on the whole United States. You can find any estate sales like in your city. Not every city has estate sales weekly, but if you live in a major city or near a major city, or even not even a major city, like a medium-sized city, there will probably be estate sales in the spring, and the summer and the fall, sometimes the winter in your area. So look into that. And you don't always have to bring cash to those, but sometimes they're cash only. For me, most of the time they're not. Usually they're ran by estate sale companies, so they have card readers and stuff, but you can kind of tell on the listing if they're ran by the family or a company. So the thing is, estate sales and garage sales are way cheaper than thrift stores. You can source all of your reselling goods from thrift stores, and that's the obvious thing that's right in your face, but after a while you get sick of it because you have to spend so much more money and you're making less of a profit margin. Usually I recommend garage sales, estate sales. Now, bring cash to garage sales and estate sales, and do not be afraid to make people, the sellers there, offers. Just like how on Depop or eBay you can send people offers, you can do that in person too. I know it's a little scary. I get scared, but the worst thing that can happen is somebody will say no. And I feel like it works even better if you have cash, especially at estate sales or whatever, because you can just be like, I have 20 bucks, will you give me this? And you show them the 20 bucks. For them, it's a convenience thing because you're taking all of this stock off of their hands. And so, obviously it's going to take you longer to move the stock, but they're getting rid of it for 20 bucks. And most of the time people say yes. You would be shocked, how often people say yes. I feel like it's much easier to do that if you're using cash. And, if you go to your hole-in-the-wall thrift store that's not part of a chain, like Goodwill, Salvation Army, don't go to those. If you go to a small charity thrift store and you get a bunch of things, make them an offer, and have cash. You would just be so surprised who says yes. I promise you, just try it. You will save money, and the worst thing that can happen is that they will say no and you have to pay more money, or you decide not to. You just don't get that. This is the best idea as a reseller. I'm just gonna throw this in there. Maybe it would plant a seed of an idea in your head. I know there are some resellers that consign clothes. There's the consignment thrift stores like Plato's Closet, and there's some local consignment thrift stores. It's a very popular thing. A consignment thrift store, they're more expensive than regular thrift stores, but they have more curated items, kind of like a Depop shop or eBay. You could get into consigning people's clothes. So people you know, people who follow you on Instagram, you can post like a thing. You can look into this, do some research. I have done this with some people I know. They'll be like, can you sell this for me? We can split it 50-50. And I'm like, sure. I would recommend not giving them half because you're obviously doing more work. But when I done it with people I know, we just split it 50-50 because I'm nice like that. And consigning isn't really my thing anyways. For consigning, if you're going to do that with like people you know or people on Instagram, whatever, I would recommend doing like at least you get 60%, at least. But yeah, a lot of people want to just get rid of the clothes they have, and that takes away a lot of the sourcing for you. So you can have people just ship it to you, or if it's your friend, you can just meet up with them. So I really recommend exploring that option if that interests you. That is it for my in-person section. Now let's move on to the online sourcing. Okay. First of all, there are people online that will do curated bulk for resellers, and what they do is they buy even bigger pallets of clothes and sift through them, and you know, you're paying for their organized bundle from that larger thing, so you're paying for their work for that. So it is more expensive and you are not making as big of a profit margin, but it takes away a lot of the work for you. There are a lot of reselling, or there's a lot of like bulk websites and people on Instagram who sell these like curated lots, and if you don't want to do the dirty work of reselling, like going through stuff, this is a good option for you. Your profit margins wouldn't be as big, but it might be worth it. So I encourage you to look into that. There's a lot of websites out there, and I've literally spent hours looking through them, and like in hours I've found maybe like 3 that seem maybe good. So I haven't done that much, but there are sources, especially for more common niches, or if you don't even have a niche, you know, it's easier to source online for sure. But I really recommend you do your research for that. And then another thing is you can find like people on Depop or on eBay that are selling a lot of an item, and you can send them an offer for with all of the items that you want that they're selling. And obviously, like for you, you're getting a really good bulk deal, but it's an advantage for them because they're able to move all of that stock. They just want to push stock. So if you are like maybe lowballing them quite a bit, they still are making some sort of profit, and then they're getting rid of that stuff. So often people will say yes. I have sent people some lowball offers on bulk items I've asked to bundle. They say yes in order to just move the stock. It's a good idea to look into other resellers that sell at a lower price point than you do, and then offer to buy a big portion of their shop. I also wanted to add in to the in-person sourcing, vintage stores often have a clearance section that, you know, items that they've held on to for too long, and it will be like a really good deal. You know, what they have is curated, and so it's often good vintage. Even their clearance sections can be really good. There's 2 vintage stores in my area, and both of them have a $5 bin and a $10 bin, and both are filled with gold. $10 and $5 is a crazy markdown, and it's a great place to source as a reseller. So I really recommend looking up any vintage stores in your area and popping in and looking at their clearance section. And if they don't have like a $5 bin, whatever, $10 bin, you can make them an offer for a bunch of items in their clearance section. I think it's learning the art of making people offers a really valuable skill when being a reseller and you're sourcing, because you will save yourself so much money if you aren't afraid to make people offers, because people say yes. Like for me, I lowball people on Depop and eBay all the time, and I mean, okay, 8 out of 10 times I feel people say yes. So, and in person, people say yes way more than they say yes online because it's like the social connection, the social aspect, the social pressure, and they're thinking quick in the moment as well because you're asking them like up front. You know, if it's online, they can be like, I don't know. Then finally, I think finding your niche in reselling is a good thing and a bad thing when it comes to sourcing, because if you have a niche, it can be easier to make a larger profit off of what you source because you're looking for a very specific thing and you have like a price point you're going for. Because I have this niche, I am able to like have an idea of how much I want to find these jeans for in order to make like a certain profit. And when you don't really have a niche, you're just going into it a lot of it blindly, unsure of what your profit margin is going to be. But when you don't have a niche, it's easier to source. What I kind of like to do is I have my niche, but I will purchase things outside of my niche. If it feels right, that's what works for me. But there's a lot of resellers out there that don't have a niche and they are perfectly happy. Explore, research, take time, and enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on any of it, and like try to have fun. I think a lot of people go into reselling because they enjoy clothes and thrifting and all that. So have fun with it. Enjoy this job or side hustle, whatever. Like, have fun with the process. And it's good to acknowledge and be okay with the fact that it's gonna take time and experience and you'll learn things along the way. And it wouldn't be any fun if you just knew everything right away. And we all kind of have to learn how to do things on our own in a way. Like, you can only have so much help, and you know, where I live is different from where you live, and your niche is different than my niche. Like, we are all different people, we're all going for different things, so everyone's experience is going to be different. Take what I say that is helpful to you and leave what isn't. That is all I have for you today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know that there's a lot that goes into this and there's lots of logistics. Let me know if you have any questions. And I post other Depop related content, reselling content, thrifting content, all that on my channel. So please subscribe and like this video. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a lovely day.